This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Romeo's Town by James Scott Bell. Lord, what fools these mortals be. Come a puck, a midsummer night's dream. People sleep peacefully in their beds at night, only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. George Orwell. Romeo's Town. 2 minutes before the knife attack, I was sitting on a folding chair outside the Odysseus bookstore in downtown LA. Yep, an independent bookstore had managed to survive lockdowns, street riots, arson, and general fear of the virus. Wounded though it was, with boards on the windows, it was at long last doing some business again. I know the owner of Odysseus, a middle-aged bibliophile named Tony. An anonymous donor had given the store a much-needed infusion of cash. That still left it hanging. Even in good times, a bookstore is a thin-margin business. A combo new and used bookstore is an endangered retail species. I was glad to be giving it what business I could. I'm all for preserving bookstores, pandas, and the blue-footed booby. So there I was, leafing through a used hardback of Harold Bloom's Shakespeare, The Invention of the Human. I'm always interested in what the scholars say about Iago. The guy has some of the best lines in Shakespeare, and even though he's a complete turd, he sometimes says wise things like, if the balance of our lives had not one scale of reason to poise another, of sensuality, the blood and baseness of our natures would conduct us to most preposterous conclusions. We see the truth played out every day now. Reason is long gone. Balance and restraint are quaint vestiges of the past. We're a world of blood and baseness, full of Iagos, a character, Bloom says, with great intellectual activity, accompanied with a total want of moral principle. Welcome to our current politics. But I digress. I looked up from the book and saw a guy dressed in a dirty green jacket. He was about my size, 6'4", white, wearing a black gator mask. I wouldn't have paid him any attention except for one thing. He pulled a knife out of his jacket pocket. A 6-inch blade at least. He flipped it in his hand so his forearm hid the blade, and headed into the bookstore. So did I. The guy made for the counter. Behind it was a young woman named Wanda. She was looking down at something. Knife guy was going to cut her. It was the way he held the knife, the tightness of his fist, the purposeful walk. He wasn't going there to ask where the poetry section was. In a spot like that, you can't hesitate. I would have taken him down myself, but there was a little too much space between us at the critical moment. In a pinch, an 800-page hardback makes a useful weapon. If you know how to throw it, that is, fling it haphazardly, and it's liable to fly open and lose all force as the pages riffle in the air. The key is to hold it with the spine facing you, and hurl it so it makes only one revolution, like an axe. How do I know this? Because I used to throw books across my dorm room at Yale when I found too many stupid utterances in them. But you can be pretty intellectually arrogant when you're 15 years old. I threw Harold Bloom at the side of the guy's head. The sharp points of the cover nailed him just above the neck. He went down like a garbage bag tossed in a dumpster. Wanda looked up. A man standing at a paperback spinner said, "Whoa." Knife guy rolled on the ground. I put a knee on his back and grabbed his wrist, slammed it on the floor a couple of times. The knife came loose. I pulled his arm behind him and pinned it with my knee. I picked up the knife and put it on the counter. "Call the police," I said. Wanda was already on the phone. Knife guy started cursing. I tweaked his skull and told him to shut up. There were children in the store. A woman watching from the fringe said, "That's brutality." I had no words. "And where is your mask?" she said. "You're not wearing a mask." I started having bad thoughts. Tony stepped in and said to the customers, "Come on now. Let's back away." "This store isn't safe," the angry woman said. "We have 2 exits, ma'am," Tony said. Knife guy screamed something profane. I grabbed his hair, pulled his head up, and said, "Not another word." He gave me another word.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.